Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the loops in detail. For example, suppose if anybody asks you that just find out the factors of the given number, then how will you do that particular thing? So whenever you want to do that particular thing, you first need to do that things on the paper. So this is my paper. For example, suppose if anybody says that find out the factors of 15, then what are the factors of 15? Then any number starting from 1, any number which is divide this particular number, and if the remainder is 0, then you can say that number is a factor of this number. For example, 1. So is 15 is divisible by 1? Yes. 15 is divisible by 1, the remainder is 0, then you can say 1 is a factor of 15. Then is 2 is a factor of 15? No. How can I say that? If the 15 divided by 2, whenever you do this, you will get the remainder 1. It means the remainder is not 0, then 2 is not the factor of 15. Then is 3 is a factor of 15? Yes, 3 into 5, 15. So you can say 3 is a factor of 15. Is 4 is a factor of 15? No, 4 is not a factor of 15. Why? Because whenever you divide the number 15 by 4, then you will get the remainder 3. You will not get the 0. And that is the reason why 4 is not the factor of 15. Is 5 is the factor of 15? Yes, 5 is a factor of 15. Why? Because whenever you divide the 15 by 5, then you will get the remainder 0. So you can say 5 is the factor of 15. Now you can go ahead and you will get the factor of any number up to divided by 2 of that particular number. For example, suppose if you want to find it out the factor of 10, then after 5 you will not get the factor of 10. Suppose if you want to find it out the factor of 50, then after 25 you will not get the factor of 50. So here the number divided by 2 you can go. So is a 6 is a 6 is a factor of 15? No, whenever you divide the 15 by 6, the output will be, that is the remainder will not be 0. Now you can go up to 7. Is a 7 is a factor of 15? No, 7 is not a factor of 15. So your loop runs how many times? Your loop runs until it reaches to the number divided by 2. Right? So how we can do this particular thing? For example, for integer I equal to 1, I less than or equal to, my number is for example 15, then my number should be run, my loop should be run up to number divided by 2, I plus plus. Now what happened in this particular case? This loop runs 7 times if my number is 15. Right? Now what I will do? I will check for each and every number. For example, if the number, that is a number is for example 15. If number modulo by I equals 0, then you can say that print the I. It means that particular I is my factor. So you can simply print the I. If number modulo by I is not equal to 0, we don't want the factor. So this is the simple program to find the factors of the given number, and it will give you the output. So how we can do this? Very simple. Here you can declare the number. Now you can ask from the user that enter any number to find the factors of that particular number. Scanf %d ampersand number. Now here you can initialize your variable, that is I. Now you can write a loop I equal to 1. We will start from 1. I less than or equal number divided by 2, I plus plus. So your loop will be run up to number divided by 2. Now if my number is divisible by I, equal 0, then we can say that it is a factor of that particular number. So you can simply print that I, and now you can check it is working properly or not. Now it is asking me to enter the number. For example, number is 15, then the factor of 15 is 1, 3 and 5, and here you can verify with your calculation that the factor of 15 is equal to 1, 3 and 5. So it is very simple to find it out the factors. For example, here you can pass any number. For example, number is 75. Then these are the factors. 1, 3, 5, 15 and 25 are the factors of 75. But suppose some people says that, sir, I don't want to find out only factors, but I want to find it out that is the greatest common divisor of that particular number. So how we can do this? So very simple. You can save this particular program and you can give the name that is GCD LCM dot C. Now the question is, I want to find it out the greatest common divisor and least common multiple. So how we can do that particular thing? Very simple. Whenever you want to find it out the GCD of any two numbers, right? GCD of any two numbers, then what we can do? Simple. For example, if your number 1 is equal to, that is 18, and your number 2 is equal to, for example, 27. Now you can start from 1 and you can check, is 18 is divisible by 1? Yes. Is 27 is divisible by 1? Yes. Now you can repeat this up to it reaches the minimum of this two number, right? So which is the minimum of this two number? So minimum is equal to, you can say that 18. So my loop runs up to 1 to 18. My loop runs up to 1 to 18. Now any number between 1 to 18 is divide both the numbers, then you can say it is a GCD. For example, you can check 3. Is 18 is divisible by 3? Yes. Is 27 is divisible by 3? Yes. Now you can move ahead. For example, 5. Is 18 is divisible by 5? No. Then you can take another number 6. Is 18 is divisible by 6? Yes. Is 27 is divisible by 6? No. Then you cannot take the 6. Now take the 9 for example. Is 18 is divisible by 9? Yes. Is 27 is divisible by 9? Yes. Then you can say that the 9 is the greatest common divisor. Why? Because after 9 you will get the 18, and 18 is divisible by 18 but 27 is not divisible by 18. So how we can do this? Very simple. Here you can also find it out the factor of 18. What are the factors of 18? That is 1. Then you can say 2. Then you can say 3. Then you can say 6. And then you can say 9. So 1, 2, 3, 6 and 9 are the factors of 18. Now here you can find it out the factors of 27. That is 1. 2 is not there. 3. Is 4 is factor of 27? No. 5? No. 6? No. 8? No. 9? Yes. Now, which is the common between this, and that is the maximum. So you can say that a greatest common divisor of this two, and that is a 9, and that is the reason why 9 is the greatest common divisor. So how we can convert this particular thing into program? We need to take the two numbers from the user. So I am taking here number 1 and number 2. Now you can ask to the user that enter number 1 and number 2. Now I'm just getting the number 1 and number 2, percentage D, percentage D. You can get both the number at the same time, n% number 1, n% number 2. Now the first task is to find it out the minimum of these two numbers. Why? Because I just find it out the minimum of this two number, that is 18 and 27, and that is the minimum is 18. So how we can do this? Simple. If number 1 is less than the minimum, here you can just initialize the minimum value with the, that is, for example, minimum is equal to 100, right? Now, is number 1 is less than minimum? If yes, then you can say that then minimum is equal to number 1. Here you can give the maximum value to your minimum variable. Maximum value to minimum variable, and then you can do this. Then minimum is equal to number 1. Now here you can check, else the minimum is equal to, that will be your number 2. Now, if the number 1, even you can check like this. If you don't want to do this, then you can do like this also. Minimum is equal to 0. If number 1 is less than number 2, then minimum is number 1. If number 1 is not less than number 2, then minimum is number 2. Now, once you get the minimum of this two number, now how to find it out the factors? So again simple. Here you can declare the variable that is integer I, and now here you can just write the loop that integer I is equal to 1. Now I should be run up to minimum, right? And that is for example, if the number are 18 and 27, then I need to run up to 1 to 18. So that is the reason why I'm taking the loop, that is I equal to 1 to minimum. Now if my number 1 is modulo by I equal 0, and number 2, it means if my number 1 and number 2 both are divisible by I, then you can say that particular I is the GCD, right? And then you can simply print the message, that is GCD equal to percentage D. You can simply print the GCD number. So we need to take the variable that is GCD equal to 0. Now you can compile and run your program, and you can check. You can pass the two numbers, for example 18 and 27. Now it will says that the GCD of these two numbers are, that is 9, right? How 9 came? Because the factor of 18 are 1 2 3 6 9, factor of 27, that is 1 3 and 9. So greatest common number, that is the greatest common divisor of this two number is 9. So how we find it out? The same thing by program. Simple. I just taken the minimum number between these two, and then I just run the loop up to that minimum number. If my any number is modulating by, it means any number is divisible by both the number, and if that number is maximum, then you can say it is a greatest common divisor. Now I want to find it out the LCM. So what is LCM? You can say that LCM is a least common multiples. So how we can get the least common multiples? Very simple. Your number 1 multiply by number 2 divided by GCD will give you the least common multiple between two numbers. So very simple in this particular thing. The LCM is the formula of the LCM is very simple. You can just multiply the two numbers. For example, LCM is equal to, I want to find it out the LCM between two numbers. Then I can write number 1 multiply by number 2 divided by GCD, right? And we all know that the multiplication and division both have the same priority. So in this particular case, the multiplication will run first and then it will divide the number. For example, the number is 18 and 27, then GCD is 9, but the least common multiple between these two numbers are 54, right? So this is the way you can calculate the GCD and LCM of the given number. between the two numbers. Here you can pass any number. For example, my number is 24 and 36. Then the GCD is 12. It means the 12 into 2, 24, 12 into 3, 36. And the least common multiple between this 24 and 36 is 72. So here you can pass any two numbers and you can calculate GCD and LCM between two numbers. Now suppose if anybody from you ask me that, sir, this is correct, I can find it out the GCD and LCM between two numbers, but I want to find it out the factorial of the given number. Is it possible to find it out the factorial of given number? Yes, you can. Let me save this program as factorial.c. So what I want to do, I want to find it out the factorial of a given number. So whenever you want to find it out the factorial of the given number, first you need to work on the paper first. What is the factorial? Very simple. Suppose my input is 5, then I want to find it out the 5 factorial. It means the 5 factorial means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So it means up to 1. So natural numbers starting from 1 to this particular number, multiplication between all this number, and that will result give me the 120. So how we can do this? Very simple. Suppose if you want to do like this, first you need to find it out all these numbers, right? So I want the factorial of the given number. So here you can just write the loop for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to, for example, 5, I plus plus. So what it will do? It will run 5 times. Now what can I write over here? That is, for example, factorial is equal to 1 is my variable. Now I can write here factorial is equal to factorial multiply by I. So what happened? My I will be 1 first time. So 1 into 1. So after first iteration, my factorial is equal to 1. Now my I will be 2. Is 2 less than 5? Yes. So fact into 2. So I will get 1 into 2. It will be 2. So fact equal to 2. Now my I will be 3. So I will get 1 into 2 into 3. Then I will get 1 into 3 into 4. Then I will get 1 into 3 into 4 into 5. At last, if I print the fact variable over here, then I will definitely get the factorial of the given number. But remember, your fact variable must be initialized to 1. If you initialize it with 0, then anything multiply with the 0, the result will be 0. So remember, your fact variable must be initialized with 1. So I just want to take the input from the user, enter any number to find the factorial. So factorial of the given number is very simple. You can just get the number from the user. Now here you can initialize your variable I, and you can just write the loop I equal to 1, I less than or equal to number, I plus plus. Now I want to find it out the factorial, so I'm just writing here factorial multiply equal to I. So factorial will be my variable, factorial equal to 1, and at last you can simply print factorial of percentage d equal to percentage d. The first percentage d is number, second percentage d is fact. You can simply build and run, and now you can pass any number. For example, the number is 5, then it says that the factorial of 5 is equal to 120. You can just check. 1 into 2 it will be 2, 2 into 3 it will be 6, 6 into 4 it will be 24, 24 into 5 it will be 120, and that is the reason why factorial of 5 is equal to 120. Suppose if anybody asks you that I want to calculate the sum of natural numbers, right? So sum of first natural numbers that is given from, for example, if anybody says that just find out the sum of first 10 natural numbers, right? So sum of natural numbers. It means suppose if anybody says that enter any n value, right? So what is sum of natural number? Let me write here. For example, if I says that I want to find it out the sum of first 10 numbers. So starting from 10, starting from 1, you can just make the sum of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus up to 10. So instead of multiplication, it is just a addition, right? So this is the only difference between these two. But remember, whenever you want to find it out, the sum, that is a sum of first natural numbers, your sum variable must be initialized with 0. Why? Because we are doing addition. So in addition, if you are writing here 1, then the value will be added 1. And here if you initialize factorial with 0, then your factorial will be 0. So remember, whenever you are doing multiplication, your number must be initialized with 1. And whenever you are doing addition, your number must be initialized with 0. So in this particular case, it is very simple. I just need to make change over where, that is instead of fact equal to 1, I just need to make the sum equal to 0. And here, instead of fact multiply equal to I just need to make sum plus equal to I. And instead of factorial, here you can just say that the sum of n, that is the natural numbers, is equal to percentage d. So I just want to print a sum of first natural numbers, right? That is I am writing here sum. So what happened in this particular case? Suppose if I am passing the 10, then it will give me the sum of first 10 numbers, and that will be 55. But students, in this kind of program, we don't need the loops if we know the formula. For example, I will give you the formula for that also. For example, see, if anybody give you that, find it out the sum of first 5 natural numbers, then it will be 15. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is equal to 15. So what is the difference between these two? Very simple. If you are finding the factorial, then it will be multiplication. And if you are finding the sum of first natural number, then it will be like addition. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So we just need to make the changes into sign, and we just need to make the difference is what? Your fact must be initialized with 1 and your natural number must be initialized with 0. Now, suppose if anybody says that find it out the sum of natural numbers, that is a first 5 numbers, and without using loop. So how we can find the sum of natural numbers without loop, right? So if you want to find it out, the sum of the natural numbers without loop, then it is very easy. You just need to understand the formula. For example, if anybody says that n is equal to 10. Now I want to find it out the sum of first 10 natural numbers. Then the formula is n into, right? N into n plus 1 divided by 2. So what is the value of n? The value of n is 10. So 10 into 10 plus 1, it will be 11. So 10 into 11 divided by 2, you will get 110 by 2. So you will get the 55. Same way you can try for the sum of first 5 natural numbers. So 5 into 6 divided by 2, it will be 30 by 2 and you will get the 15. So whenever anybody asks you to find it out the sum of the natural numbers without a loop, then we don't need the loop. We can do it directly like this, and that is what? N into n plus 1, right? This is my variable, that is number. So I'm writing number into number plus 1, and that is divided by 2. That's it. So whenever you run this particular code, it will ask you to find it out the sum of the natural numbers. Suppose 10, then it will give you 55. Suppose if you run the sum of first 15 natural numbers, it will be 120. Suppose if you pass here sum of the first 5 natural numbers, then it will be 15. So without loop, you can find the sum of the natural numbers. Now suppose if anybody asks you that find it out that what is prime, and find it out the prime number, find it out the nth prime, find it out the first 10 primes, find it out the prime number between the given numbers, given series, how we can manage all these things. So now I'm moving towards the program that is a prime number. So first we need to identify that what is a prime number. In short, you can say that the prime number is the number which is divisible by only two numbers, and that is what the number is divisible by itself and number is divisible by 1 is known as a prime number. For example, if you take the number 13, right, then 13 is divisible by 1 and 13 is divisible by 13 only. This 13 is divisible by only two numbers. None other than this numbers can divide 13. So you can say that this number is a prime number. So how we can do this? Very simple. If you want to check the number is prime or not, then what we need to do? We need to start from 2 up to number divided by 2. So number is 13. So 13 divided by 2, it will be 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now if 13 is divisible by 2, then 13 is not prime. If 13 is not divisible by 2, then check, is 13 is divisible by 3? No. Then check, is 13 is divisible by 4? No. Then check, is 13 is divisible by 5? No. Then check, is 13 is divisible by 6? No. If 13 is not divisible by any number after 2 to number divided by 2, then you can say that that given number is a prime number. So how we can do this particular thing in a program? We first need to identify that this is the number, right? So we need to get the number from the user. So I'm just initializing the number, that is number variable. We need the I and j for dividing the value. So I'm just writing here printf, enter any number, right? So I want to just check the given number is prime number or not. So I'm just taking the number from the user. Now what we will do, the number is given by the user, that is, for example, if the number is 13, then we will start our loop from I equal to 2. So we will start our loop from I equal to 2 and it will run up to number divided by 2, right? So what we will get over here, you can simply print this particular I, so you will get the idea that what the value that we need over here. For example, suppose if you pass here the value that is, for example, 13, then your loop will run up to 13 divided by 2 and it will start from 2. Then you will get 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And here you can check, can I get the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yes. Now what is my next task? My next task is my 13 divided by 2? Is remainder is 0? No. Is 13 divided by 3? Is remainder is 0? No. Right? Here I am getting a 1. Here also I am getting a 1. Is 13 divided by 4? Is remainder is 0? No. It is still 1. Is 13 divided by 5? Is remainder is 0? No. It is 3. Is 13 divided by 6? Is remainder is 0? No, it is 1. It means starting from 2 to 6, any number not dividing the given number successfully, so we can say that the given number is prime number. So very simple. Here you can just check, this is the I, so we can just write here if number modulo by I equal 0. It means it will first check for 2, then it will check for 3, then it will check for 4, 5 and 6. If it is successfully divide, then we can say that the given number is not prime. Right? So I'm just declaring here variable prime is equal to 1. So by default I says that the given number is prime. But if any number divide that particular number, then we can say that that number is not prime. For example, suppose instead of 13, if my input was 14, right, then 14 divided by 2, you will get that 14 divided by 2, you will get the remainder 0. So you can say that the any number which divide by I, it means 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. If it is yes, then you can say the given number is not prime. So I'm just giving that prime is equal to 0. Then here you can just check if prime, it means if still the value is 1, right? If any number is not dividing here, then it will not move into this if condition. If my number is still prime, then you can simply print here that the percentage D is a prime number. Now here you can just simply give the message that else percentage D is not prime. Now you can run your program and you can check. For example, if my input is 13, then I just need to print that particular number. So I'm just printing the number that is a 13 or the value that I'm providing over here. So 13 is prime? Yes. So it giving me a message that is 13 is a prime number. Suppose if I'm passing 14, then it will say that 14 is not prime. How it runs? Simple. 14. So is 14 modulo 2 is equal to 0? Yes. Then your prime will become 0. If the prime is 0, then it will not run if this particular loop. It will run else. And it will give you a message that the percentage D is not a prime number. But not only this, sometimes people ask you to find the n primes. So to find the n number of primes, right? Then how we can do that particular thing, that is find the n primes. It means I want to find it out that the prime number between all the prime number between 1 to 50, right? So enter any number. If my number is 50, then I want to find it out the prime number between 1 to 50. Then how we can do this particular thing? Very simple. Instead of this particular loop, that is I equal to 2 to number, right? We can take one more loop over here. So what we can do, see carefully over here. Instead of number, I am declaring variable n, right? So I'm just asking to the user that enter up to which you want the prime numbers, right? So I want the prime numbers up to 50, for example. So my n will be the input from the user. Now what I'm doing, see carefully student, I want to find it out the n numbers. Here you can take the nested loop and one by one you can pass your number from here. For example, number is equal to, that is 2. So from 2 to up to which you want to run. So number less than n, I want to run. So number less than or equal to n, you can write number plus plus. Now what it will do? Let me clear over here. It will pass each and every number. So one by one the number will be passed over here. So if the number is modulo by I, then the prime will be 0. But before this, I just want to initialize that after each number, my prime will become the 1. So if it is a prime, then and then we will print that particular number. So I'm just simply printing the number. So number will be printed if and only if the number is prime. If the number is not prime, then I don't want to print that particular number. What I did in this case, I just get the number from the user. For example, if the number is 50, then what happened in this particular case? See, number is declared over here. So let me build and run again. Now I just need to declare the another number, that is n. So build and run. Now see what happened. It will ask me for the number. For example, if I pass the number over here, that is 50, then what happened? It will pass 50 over here. So my number will give one by one number to this particular loop. So my first number is 2. So 2 less than or equal to number by 2. If 2 divided by 2 equal to 0, then you can say that the number is not prime, right? And so on. You can just run and you can check that. See, 2 is 2. So my loop will run up to what? That is 2 less than or equal to 2 divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 will give me a 1. So in case of 2, my this loop will not run. And that is the reason why 2 is a prime number that will come into the list over here. So this is the program to find the prime numbers between 1 to 50, right? But if what I did, let me repeat again. Suppose my number is passed over here, that is a 15. Then 15 is passed, prime is equal to 1 is my, then what I do it from 2 to 15 divided by 2. So instead of passing the number in scanf, I just pass the number from for loop, right? So my each and every number will be passed over here, and I'm just checking for each number. If number that is a passed, for example 15, then this loop will be run up to 2 to 15 divided by 2. Is any number divided by I, so 15 modulo 3 will be given me a 0, so prime will be 0, and if prime is 0, then it will not display that particular number, and that is the reason why I'm getting all the prime numbers between 1 to 50. But sometimes people ask me that I don't want the prime number between 1 to 50. I want the prime number between given range. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Let me show you over here. For example, I want to find it out the prime number between range. It means if anybody asks me that find it out the prime number between 10, 21 and 40, then how we can do this, right? So we need to give the range over here. So enter the range to find it out, to find out the prime numbers. So we need a range over here, that is a starting range and ending range, right? So here we can get that we can pass the two numbers, right? That is a start and end. So here we need to pass the range, that is a percentage d ampersand start ampersand end. Now here you can say that the number is equal to 2. Instead of this number equal to 2, you can write number is equal to start. So your number will start from start and it will run up to it reaches the end. Now you can run your program. You can check that it is working properly or not. Now it is asking me that enter the given range to find it out the prime numbers. For example, if I pass that find it out the prime number between 50 to 70, then it will list me that there are four prime numbers between this range, and that is 53, 59, 67, 61 and 67. Now suppose if anybody asks you that find it out the third prime, find it out the third prime which starts from 50. So from 50 your third prime will be 61, right? So I want to find it out the third prime from this series, that is in the given series. For example, if the series is 1 to 50, then find it out the third prime from 1 to 50. For example, if I pass 1 to 50, then it will give me a prime number between 1 to 50. Now find it out the third prime. Now what happens, see, if I pass 1 to 50, then 1 is coming over here. But if I say from 2 to 50, then the third prime will be 5. So I want to find it out the third prime in the given range. How we can do this, right? So the question is nth prime between given range, right? The question is nth prime in the given range. So first we need to give the range. After this we need the nth prime. So I'm just writing here that enter which prime you want, right? So enter nth prime number. So first is the, you can say that the prime number list. Then I want the nth prime. So I'm just getting the m% n. I'm just declaring n variable over here. So I have starting, ending, and nth prime. Now I want the nth prime. So how we can do that particular thing? So very simple. Here you can get the n, that is from the user defined, and you can declare the variable that is counter. So I'm just declaring the variable counter is equal to, you can define the counter is equal to 1. Now I want the nth prime. Then what we can do in this particular case, we can increment the prime number if it is a prime number. So here you can write the condition that if it is a prime, then increment the counter, right? And we want to display the nth prime, so we will write the condition over here. If counter equal n, it means if the counter reaches to the n, then and then print this particular thing, then it will print the nth prime. Let me check it is working properly or not. I want to give the series, that is from 50 to 70. Right. So from 50 to 70, you want the which prime number? I want the third prime number. So I'm writing here 3 and it will give me a 61. It means the third prime from 50, in given range, that is 50 to 70, right? The third prime is 61, right? And suppose if you want that, I want to check that from starting, that is from 2 to 50, the third prime will be 5. So 2, 3 and 5. Not only third prime, but sometimes you want that, sir, I don't want the nth prime. I want to list the prime numbers between the given range. How we can do this particular thing, right? So let me save this particular program to list n number of primes, right? So I want to list all the primes with counter. This is the first prime, this is the second prime, this is the third prime, and all this I want the list over here. So what we can do in this particular case, here you can put the command, here you can write %d. Now here you can just give the /n. You can print your counter variable. So your counter variable will print that particular number, and up to which you can run this. So we are giving the range over here, and the range is, for example, range is 50 to 70. Then you will get here I don't want to give the condition. See here in 50 to 70, that the first prime is 53, second prime is 59, third prime is 61, fourth prime is 67, and you can get like this. Suppose if you think that, sir, I want to list this, and after this list I want to display that particular prime number, that also possible in your case. Now suppose if you run this particular program and if you says that I want to display a prime number from 2 to 100, right? So it will display all the prime numbers from 2 to 100 that you can see here. But see, it will display the prime numbers between 2 to 100, right? Let me, I don't want the confusion over here. That is, there is no role of nth prime in this particular case. So I want to find it out. That is, you can say that this is what, that is, suppose if I print here 1 to, that is 2 to 100, then these are the prime number between 2 to 100, but we cannot say that there are 100 primes in this. Let me repeat the statement again. These are what prime number? That is the prime number list between 2 to 100. But we cannot say that there are 100 prime in this. But if I say that I want to find it out the first n prime numbers, right? It means whenever I says first n prime numbers, it means if I says 100 prime, then I don't want the list of prime number between 1 to 100, but I want that the first 100 prime numbers. Then how we can do this particular thing? So instead of range, you can start with your value, that it will be 2, and here you can just give the AND, at which position you want to make the AND. So here you can just write that, enter how many primes you want. So how many prime numbers you want? I want the 50 primes, right? So now my loop will not run up to AND, right? Here I need to give the condition that not number less than or equal to AND, but counter less than or equal to AND. And my counter will be incremented if and only if my number is given number is prime. Suppose if you run this particular program and if you says that I want the first 10 primes, then there is some problem over here. That is what? Counter. Let me check what problem I did. Number is equal to 2. Now counter is equal to 1. Counter will be run up to which condition? That is counter less than or equal. Yes, I just given the changes over here. I just need to pass here and only. No need to pass the start. So you can just write here, I want the first 10 primes. See here, the first 10 primes will be displayed. So suppose if you think that, sir, I want the first 100 primes, then it will not display the prime number up to 100, but it will display the 100 primes. And you can check that these are the 100 prime numbers. Now the final question is, I want to find it out the nth prime from this. So I want to display first 100 primes and then I want to find it out the 31st prime. It means the 31st prime is, that is 127. So I want to find it out that this is the given prime number. So you can list, I want to find it out the 31st prime number. So nth prime from this. So here you can just ask, enter nth prime number. So whenever you ask that, enter nth prime number, so you can get the n from user. If counter reach to n, then and then display that particular number. So now it will ask me not how many primes, but it will ask me which prime. So suppose if I say 31, right? So not 31, in 100 primes, I want the 31st prime. So 31st prime is 127. So students, you can do the program of prime number in very different ways. So that's it from my side.